Hey, so invoice precedent, the easiest way to make a precedent an invoice type is to take an existing invoice that already exists and duplicate it that way, because then it's already going to have the precedent type. So one thing you can do is change precedence class to invoice, but because it doesn't have the invoice table in it, it might just give me an error. Nothing happened, so I'm going to assume it's an invoice precedent type now. I'm just going to see if it now shows up in the list. I mean, it wouldn't populate because the table's not there, but I'm just curious. Open. Print. Okay, so it's showing up there, but because it doesn't have the table, it doesn't have the thing to like populate into, so it just wouldn't properly fill, but it exists. So that's the first step. Also, just kind of a side note, since you're watching this anyway, is you can also change this so you create clauses and stuff. I don't know if anyone uses any of these things, but they technically exist. So then the other thing that you're going to need to do, oh, it's already open for editing. My bad. Wow, I'll just open it. I'll reopen it now that it's been saved in this invoice, because that'll allow me to get the financial insert functions. If that makes sense. Of course, it's going to make me wait. I was about to pause it, and now it's loading. I'll just pause it anyway. Okay, so what happens is these need to be the merge fields that are bringing in the like the client information, right? I think Leap just used theirs as like a placeholder example, but it should be like the client's like name and address basically. Same thing like invoice number. These will all need to be merge fields rather than just the Leap information. For the table, so we don't want this because that's just going to be static. It's not going to populate the information. Is just, so now that it's an invoice type, it's got a special invoice insert field. And so this is where you can get the addressee and the invoice number and things like that for these merge fields. But specifically, it's invoice sections placeholder. And now it will pull in the correct invoice. Same thing here is you'll need to put in the correct merge fields for like subtotal excluding tax, total including tax, like those things, right? I don't know what the sort code account number. This should be just GST number, like from this should be the firms from the insert field from the firm's banking information, which I think is under the regular insert fields. So bulk invoice, firm. Firm details. So you'll be able to find the like bank account number and GST and things like that here for these merge fields. And then the payment due is going to be under here, due date. So these just need to be merge fields rather than static, if that makes sense. But obviously the formatting is good. In order to get this formatting with the correct font, what you need to do is go to styles, and then where do we do that? Well, I don't remember this. You know what, if we put it in a table, then we can do table design, modify table style, and then choose for example, the header row is going to be that like whatever purple it is. You'll have to get the hex code, the font, things like that, so that it pulls in correctly. Just gonna delete these columns. Oops, nope. What am I going to do? I'm going to merge these so that it doesn't affect this, but this still like comes normally. Should do it with this one too. Good enough. Okay, Yeah, so I'll just say that with the invoice sections already, but you'll have to add in like the merge fields and format the table so it has the right like colors and shading and stuff. And then what you do is just go to printed invoice to test it to see if it's like pulling the right information and looks good.